Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. I just got done changing a starter on a car. One of my wife's car's starter went bad, so I just had to go change it on the spot in the parking lot. That's always fun. Anyway, if you guys are interested in undervalued investment opportunities or even just financial education and discussion, whether it be financial or philosophical, definitely click subscribe to the channel. I was reading through the comment section, and one of the comments that someone had made is, if interest rates increase substantially to combat inflation, then home demand will crash. That's not what history has said. The exact opposite. In fact, you could argue, if you didn't know anything about history and finance and all you looked at was charts and graphs. And that's kind of how I view the world. I look at it, and a lot of people, they create this narrative. The narrative being, if interest rates go up, well, then people can't afford it. It depends on how screwed up the housing market is. And I've been watching other YouTube channels, been looking at some of their reasoning and logic behind it. And I disagree fundamentally with some of the logic and the givens that. So I'm an engineer by trade. When you go and you calculate a problem, what you have is you have usually a word problem. It's a word problem that says X, Y, Z. And what you do is you go through, you break down through the word problem, and you create a given. The given is what is given to us as information as an engineer to solve. And when you look at, say, the housing market, I was looking at that Ken McElroy. He was going through and doing all these numbers. And I just disagreed with the given that he has. So he said, well, in order to get back to a 6-month inventory, and we're at roughly a 2-month inventory, it's 1.9. You do the math, and he says, well, we need to add 4 more months of housing. Therefore, it's 4 months times however months. If 1 month is 300,000 homes, you do 4 times 300,000 is 1.2 million. Add that to the inventory that we have today, 1.9 million, and you're back to, roughly a 6-month kind of a normal market. The problem with that is the given, the information in the front. That's not how it. I disagree with that analysis. What he did. You can't just say, oh well, 4 months times 300,000 is one. We're short 1.2 million homes to get back to 6 months. That's not necessarily true. That isn't a true statement. You may need to put on 8 or 10 months of inventory to get back to a 6-month inventory. And you'd say, well, why would that be? You're thinking too linearly. We have so many buyers in Colorado Springs right now for the housing real estate. It takes 9 days to sell a house. Prices went up 28%. Year over year for that month. 28%. We have no homes for sale. There's like nothing. We're down 60, 70% on our inventory. Our inventory is like 0.2 months. Now, to get to a 6-month, there are so many buyers out there that some are giving up. So in order to get to a 6-month, the math isn't so straightforward. It's not just take 6 months minus your current inventory today and then look at the difference. It doesn't work like that. There's so many buyers out there. You may have to go 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. You may have to do 14 or 15 months to get back to a 6-month inventory. You may have to go 20 months. You may have to go 30 months. Does that make sense? You can't just add this up because there's so many buyers out there, and they're all competing right now at certain prices, and they're doing $100,000, $150,000 all cash offers over asking price. That we don't know exactly what that demand looks like out there. We just know that when we throw a house out there, it's gone in seconds. The math isn't as straightforward as we're at 1 month or 0.3 months today. We have to add 5.7 months. If you put 5.7 months worth of inventory on the market right now, it may sell in 10 days, all of it. That inventory wouldn't exist. You could put it out there, but it'll get eaten up so fast that you won't ever get to the 6-month inventory. You may have to put on 20 months of inventory. You may have to put on 30 months of inventory in one shot to get 6 months in the end of it. to make a balanced market. If that makes sense, guys, because I'm trying to talk and think this through, because if you've got 20 buyers for every one seller and there's 2 months worth of inventory, then that's the calculation you need to have. And then you have to go 6 months above that. So if there's 20 buyers, and that's what it is here, let's say we have 1 month in Colorado Springs, there's 20 buyers for every one house. So that's, you need 20 months of inventory to basically kind of cleanse out the system. 20, maybe 2 years worth. You get 2 years worth of inventory to come on. It'll kind of somewhat overwhelm all the buyers that are out there. And I think you could really start to increase inventory. But that's 2 years. We have like 18 months or 2 years of backlog of new home builders. Like we just can't, and then there's not really many spots to put up these homes. So all the most desirable spots are getting eaten up in seconds. So this is what I want to get across. The math isn't as straightforward. There's way more people out there wanting to buy homes than homes available. And you can't do some of the calculations that some of these guys are doing. They fail. Another thing that he was talking about, Ken McElroy or whatever, he was saying that the forbearance doesn't fix the problem. It can delay the problem, but it doesn't fix the problem. What happened in all the foreclosures are what caused the problem in the beginning. We didn't build enough homes. We still haven't built enough homes. And if we have a moratorium that ends and some foreclosures come on, that still doesn't build homes. Nowhere in this equation are people building homes. We need more homes. We don't need people transferring and swapping their the mortgages and stuff like that. It's not like I become the owner of someone else's house because they foreclosed. This is just swapping ownership around. That doesn't actually create more homes. That obviously makes sense. So I get a little bit kind of frustrated because it took 10 years to get into this position. It's not going to take us 2 years to get out of it. It's going to take us 10 years to get out of this, probably 8 to 10 years. And we're going to have to build a lot of homes. And if we can't build the homes, it just means that prices are going to go higher. They're going to continue to go higher and higher and higher. And it's you're going to see more inflation because this is really driving inflation because you're going to get larger and larger loans. But when you have all this money in the system seeking something, this is the type of scenario you're going to get in. And you're going to get investors going in there and buying everything up. You're going to be buying all the good homes up. So that's one thing I wanted to touch on. I'll release another video on interest rates, and I'll talk about that in the next video. Thanks for listening. This is Finding Value.